Each year, more than 700,000 abused or neglected children move through the foster care system in this country. By becoming a court-appointed special advocate, you can fight for the rights of these kids during the most vulnerable time of their young lives and ensure that each child is well cared for and able to find a safe, a loving, and a permanent home. Rick Semones is president of Albuquerque Casa Incorporated and joins me this morning. Hi, Rick.
Thank you for having us, Nikki.
Thank you for being here. I'm really glad we're talking about this today. Let's begin this conversation by talking about who are the court-appointed special advocates.
Court-appointed special advocates are part of a nationwide program that was begun in 1982 by a children's court judge in Seattle who saw that foster children who were victims of abuse and neglect were falling through the cracks of the system. And he created a program whereby a volunteer could advocate in court on behalf of these children.
And they need somebody to speak up for them. They need somebody to speak on behalf of them clearly. So let's talk about the scope of the problem in New Mexico particularly, and in Bernalillo County, because there are several abused and neglected children out there. So what is the scope of the problem
Well,
here?
the scope of the problem is large. There were over 14,000 substantiated cases of child abuse in New Mexico last year.
Over 14,000.
In Bernalillo County, there were over nearly 4,500 substantiated cases of child abuse in this county.
My goodness. And I don't even know if people are really aware. Let's talk about the role of the CASA volunteer in court, because they do play a big role. You said they speak on behalf of these children. So how do they play a role in the life of the foster children?
The volunteers are trained to national CASA standards. There are over 1,000 programs nationwide. And a volunteer goes through a 30-hour training process, learns the rules of the court and the law and about the system. And then that volunteer is appointed by the judge in children's court to a case. And then is allowed to investigate all facets of the child's life. When a child is removed from the home due to abuse and neglect, that becomes a case. And that child is in custody of the state. So we are allowed to see all the files that the court has, the CYFD has. We visit with the children in foster care. We interview anybody that has any contact in that child's life. And then at various court hearings throughout the process of the case, we report to the judge on the progress of the parents in being able to be reunified with the children and how the kids are doing. And we advocate for more services for them.
Is it a priority that you end up being able to put the children back with their biological parents if there's a chance that they can be rehabilitated from the choices they
It is
made?
always a priority to reunify families.
So that's good to know.
It is good to know. And we find ourselves rooting for the parents, and they're obtaining services from the state to be able to remedy the conditions that may have brought the kids into custody.
That's good to know. I didn't realize that. Now, I mean, the next question I would have is, can anybody become a CASA volunteer, or is there specific criteria before you even get involved? I know you said that you have to go through a training program.
There's a training program. What we do is that you have to be 18 years or older. There are orientations that we have for prospective volunteers. Any citizen from any walk of life can become. All it takes is a real passion as a children's advocate to see that the right things are done for these children.
And I'm sure people watching right now, because as I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm thinking, gosh, it's a wonderful cause to have, is to make a children's life better, a child's life better, and to really be there for them, and especially a child who doesn't really have anybody, you know, because at that point when they've gone through that abuse and they've been taken away from their parent, they need somebody in their corner. So can you explain basically the effectiveness of the volunteer and what you've seen personally?
Yes. I've had 2 cases myself, and I'm also the president of the local board. But the National CASA Association receives federal funding from the Department of Justice. And as such has to do independent studies on the effectiveness of their program. It has been proven many times that if children who have the advocacy of a CASA volunteer receive more services, have less placements in foster care, are less likely to have contact with the juvenile justice system. They finish school at better rates, and they are more likely to end up in safe, permanent houses.
See, and that's really the goal. And we've been talking so much this week, in fact, Rick, about education and the problems we've been seeing with child education in our state, and how many kids are really missing out on educational opportunities. And so we don't want to see that just because they've had problems in the home. So this is a wonderful way for them to get back on track, even in the schooling system. So now, how can our viewers contact CASA to get involved?
They can contact us at our office at the courthouse at 841-7388.
Okay.
They can also contact us at our website at casaabq.com.
Okay.
And statewide, there are several programs statewide. They can contact in other counties at nmcan.org.
nmcan.org.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So no matter what program they want to get involved in, they have that opportunity. It is on a volunteer basis, and there's no time limit for this. I mean, any time of year, any day of the week, they can call and make this decision?
That's correct. We have orientations and trainings throughout the year.
Okay.
And they can call and find out when the next opportunity is. We also need help from the community in terms of resources.
Yes.
We're looking for board members all the time, committee members that can help us with fundraising, public awareness, and all those things. We need the whole community involved in this issue. It's
Absolutely.
very important.
It sure is. I'm really glad that you were here today
Thanks
to talk
for having
about this.
us. I
And thanks for
appreciate
sharing
that.
this with the
Thank you
public.
very
I know
much.
a lot of people will want to get involved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.